It's a mystical story of a man, a bow, and his arrow, and we're excited to be joined by the author and Connecticut native, Miss Carol Choomack. Welcome here to CT Style.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now, this is no Robin Hood story, right? It's a little bit different than that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
How are you inspired to write the book?
Well, I had met Armin. Armin Hirmer is a real-life person on the cover of the book, and I was inspired in meeting him because he lived a life that was, actually, when I was writing the book, I thought, this man really lives like Jesus because he owns nothing. He has a toothbrush and his bows and arrows that he travels around the world with, and he sets up archery there, but he does it in a way where he's balancing the mind, body, and the spirit and the soul of the person in the shooting of the bow. And from him, I learned so very much, really. And actually, the reason that I chose to write the book, I really wasn't chosen to write the book. The book chose me, in that I used to sing at St. Peter's Cathedral in Hartford, and I was in the choir loft one day, and I know this might sound strange to people who are not connected in a particular way, but a voice came from the ceiling, and it said, "Write of him." And I immediately decided after Mass that I would go to the Institute of Living and commit myself, because now I was hearing voices, right? And then I said, "Write of whom?" And the voice came again, and it said, "Write of him, write the archer." And that's exactly how this truly came to be.
So tell us about the book. I mean, it's all about following Armin on his adventure.
Yeah. Armin Hirmer is from Bavaria in Germany. We've never met in person just yet.
Pen pals.
We are pen pals, very much so, yes. And anyway, I decided that in writing the book, of course, I had to ask his permission for this, and he just said, go ahead with it. So he told me his life story, which was from traveling all over the world. Initially, he started out as, what was he? Now I forget. But anyway, he worked in a firm where he was an architect. And he had taken over that architectural firm, only to find out in the very end of it that the gentleman who owned it passed away, but never really left him in charge financially. And he was held responsible for $2.5 million.
Wow.
And so anyway, what happened was he decided, after his wife had divorced him, he decided to return to the root of his soul and who he truly is. And so he left Germany and went to Wudang, China, where he studied with the monks in the high mountains of Wudang. And he became connected with the body, mind, and spirit using archery and sword fighting and all that type of thing.
It seems like a very mystical book, per se. What do you think is the big takeaway for a reader?
Well, it's changed people's lives, definitely, in the way that they live. He went from a society where, you know, expectations are a great thing for each and every one of us, into a world where he decided to live his life in accordance to who he is as a human being. And he did that very well.
So that's really the message, is being your true self.
Right. Now, he had told me, just briefly here, he told me that he had haunting dreams that he could never give a name to or understand them. So in writing the book, I said, don't worry about it. So I take the book back to the 6th century China, actually.
Oh, wow.
Where
throwback.
A past love, Lilian, decides that she comes as an apparition to him to reveal the haunting dreams of his life. And he finds out who he was.
Well, I don't want you to give away too much information about the book. You guys have to check out the book.
It's really lovely.
And real quick before we go, I want you to show that right there.
In my adventure and in my journey about writing the book, I have friends all over the world. And a gentleman by the name of Ole Jørgen Rotter, he's from Norway, decided that he was going to make me, this is an arm protector that you wear as such. Very cool. And I said to him, just do something about the book. And in the book, there's a spirit guide named Silverhawk. And he travels Armin through his adventures there.
Well, I'm going to put this on, Carol. We got to go. We're going to send things over to Teresa, but make sure that you guys check out The Archer. It's available pretty much anywhere, Amazon, all bookstores all over.
Barnes and Nobles
Carol,
everywhere.
thank you so much. Give me a little handshake.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.